right, welcome to the San Antonio Zoo Facebook Live. My name is Sam Featherstone. I work in the Animal Health Center up here, and I'm the animal care specialist. We are a little different than the regular people down at the zoo with the other animal care specialists down there. We kind of do a little bit of everything up here. So not only do we have birds that come up here, but we also have a lot of mammals that come through, but we also look at a lot of reptiles as well. Since we do have one of the largest bird collections, we do get a lot of bird patients. So birds are actually one of our #1 clients up here, but I like them all. My favorite part about working up here is that we have tons of different animals we actually get to work with, and I get to learn something new at least once a week. So it just is always very exciting up here, and we always are ready to work and have a lot of fun. I'm going to be talking about a little bit of the enrichment that we do today. So when we have animals up here, our building's a little dull, so we like to liven it up a little bit with some enrichment. We also do a lot of training up here when it's possible. We build some of our enrichment, but we also get a lot of our enrichment that is other type of animal toys that we convert to enrichment for our animals. We can start off down over here. So a lot of the times our animals come from enclosures that have lots of natural things. So they have trees in there, and they'll have mulch on their ground and stuff like that. So we kind of try to bring some of that nature in so that they don't lose that when they're in with us. So we'll do mulch digs, and we'll put some flower seeds in there, or we'll even put bugs in there for the guys that really like bugs. And they go through here, and they dig, and they look, and they find their bugs, and they make a big mess with it, but they really have a good time. And we'll do the same thing with the paper here, and we'll put scents on there so that when they're digging through there, it smells different than what they're used to. So like ringtail cats really like this kind of stuff with the scents and stuff like that, because they can go ahead and get in there and get the different smells, and they rub on it like you can see your cats and dogs do sometimes when they find that really good smell. Our animals like to do the same thing. And then we also like to put their diet in different types of toys so that they can have enrichment, so they're not just getting a bowl of food every time. So depending on the size of the animal, we have to have different size toys. With our smaller little monkeys, you would give them something this small. But if you have one of our bigger monkeys, like the langurs or the gibbons, they're going to want a big toy because, they're big guys, and these little ones aren't going to hold anything for them to eat. So they went ahead and they will want these bigger ones. So we basically size our toys for the size of animals that we're going for. We also build a lot of our enrichment. So this is a newspaper dig that I built last year. So you'll put layers of newspaper in these, and you'll put some of their favorite food items in between the newspaper. So they'll have to dig through it and look through their things. So it takes them sometimes a couple hours to dig through all of that to find what they're looking for. But this is kind of the same version, but it's something that we can buy in stores. So this is a cat activity center. So we will put the enrichment inside the little thing in the little globes here. We also will put it in between here. Sometimes we throw paper over top of it, so they have to dig down in there to find it, and then they'll put their little paws in here like you see cats do, and they'll get all the little stuff out of there. They really like that activity center. We got a lot of use out of that. We've used it for some of the little monkeys that we have up here, ringtail cat again. We've even had bush dogs up here. They need a little tougher of a toy. I'm sure your dogs at home sometimes have to have that really tough toy, and that's when we use the real tough Kongs for. Because bush dogs are tough little boys, and so when we have them up here, we always have to use the stronger toy, because if we use the not so strong toy, just like your dogs at home, you would come back and that toy would not be there anymore. So we have toys that we also build out of containers. So this is actually a hanging toy that our monkeys really enjoy. We'll hang this up in their exhibit. Sometimes we'll put their food in there for them to eat, but they really just like to swing on this. Like you see little kids, they go to town on this bad boy. We also have fire hose toys that we use for our monkeys. So we'll stick their biscuits and stuff in between, so they have to go and look in between to find and scavenge for their food, so that it's not just presented for them. We also have toys for birds. So like I said, we have a lot of bird clients that come up here, and they like lots of different toys. They like different noises and different colors. We have the lorikeets that come up here every once in a while that you guys feed. Those guys are a blast when they're up here. I absolutely love them. But with different sized birds, we're going to have different sized toys, just like we do with some of the other toys that we have on the other side. So for a smaller bird, we're going to use a little tiny ladder with a little mirror. They really like to see themselves. But for like macaws and some sun conures and stuff, we're going to use the bigger ladders, because that tiny little ladder, they're not going to like that as much as this guy. We also use a lot of our bamboo that we have naturally growing here, and we make toys that are hanging toys. We also make bamboo feeders out of a lot of the bamboo that we have growing here. So we kind of like to reuse some of our toys. And they really like that. We will actually even stick some of their food in the holes of the bamboo. So it's kind of like a dig and find with a wind chime. But we also do a lot of natural toys, so the coconuts. We can use these for mammals, and we also use them for birds a lot of the times. We also put their food in there. We also have nesting box ones that are for the smaller birds that we use every once in a while. We kind of use it all. When we have them housed here and they're not feeling so well, some of these toys, and when we use the enrichment, I think it really helps them start to feel better and at least start to feel a little bit normal. A lot of these toys, they actually will get down when in their enclosures. So when we start giving it to them, it kind of brings back those memories of being with their keepers that they love and the enclosures they love being in and playing in. So we like to bring that kind of little bit back to them so that they get, that little joy while they're up here with us.
Jackie has a question. She would like to know if all of the animals that spend time at the health center are sick animals.
We don't always have sick animals up here. Sometimes when we get new animals to the zoo, they come through quarantine with us. Now our quarantine is not because they're sick. The quarantine is there so that we can make sure that the animals we're getting in are healthy, so that when they go in with our animals that are healthy down on the zoo, that we don't have any diseases that happen to come across. But we also quarantine them so that we can make sure that they're okay. Because when you move to a new city, everything's new, they have to learn new things, they have new keepers, so it's just a really scary time for them. So they come up here with us and we kind of gently bring them into our zoo. So if they come from, say, like New York, where it's a lot cooler than it is here, they'll have time to adjust to the temperatures, because we'll temperature control the room they're in, so that when they finally go out into our zoo, they're ready to go, they're happy, they're healthy, and they're adjusted to being in San Antonio now, because it's a big adjustment coming from different cities. And we all need that little time to adjust when we first start traveling.
Awesome. What is some of this that you have on the end of the table?
So we also do a lot of training. So I train the toucans down on the zoo grounds right now. I absolutely love those little guys. I'm actually target training them right now. We actually have 2 toucans. We have a male and a female. I'm in hopes to start crate training them so that when they have to come to exams, or when it gets too cold out and they need to go into a warmer area, that we can box them up and they're happy and healthy and it's easier to move them. But we also, when we're training, sometimes we can't use our hands depending on if we have a carnivore or if we have somebody who is a little grabby, so we want to make sure that we're doing safe. So we have 2 different types of tongs here. So we have the wooden tongs. So if you have somebody who's a little bit more bitey and you want to make sure their teeth are okay, we'll use these wooden tongs. But sometimes we have animals that are very excited about training. So when you go to give them their reward for training with you, they will actually just take it very quickly. I know you guys have dogs at home that are quite a little bit nippy when you try to give them stuff, and you probably wish you had tongs this big. But we'll actually, for our safety and for theirs, we'll give them their reward with the tongs. We have several different types of bridges here. So a bridge is when your animal does what you ask on cue, you will say target, and they will touch the target. You're going to actually bridge them with one of these fun little things. So we actually have clickers that you guys use at home, and I have different loudness. And then I even have one that's a lower one. And then we also use a whistle. So this is a basic dog whistle. We use these for training the same way as we'll use the clickers. And we'll just put this in our mouth, and you can actually change what noise comes out of this, if it's lower or higher for them, so that you can give them different cues with it. But basically, these are all the bridges that we use. Sometimes we use a verbal bridge, so we'll say something like target. They will target, and we'll actually say something like good to tell them that, yes, this is exactly what I wanted, thank you, and they will continue with their job. So we actually have different types of holders for our rewards that we're giving them. So we have cloth holders for our rewards that we can hook onto our belts, but we also have harder ones for when we do like less gross things, so we don't want to get our bag all dirty. So like meat, or sometimes even the fruit that we use for our training gets pretty gummy, so we don't want to put it in our bag. We'll use stations sometime. So this is a tiny little station I had for the ringtail cat we had up here. What you'll do with these ones is you'll attach it to a cage, and then you'll request them to come over and stand over by your station. And when they do that, you'll bridge them with one of your bridges, and then you reward them with whatever their favorite thing is.
Can we do a little training session?
Sure.
Will you ask us to target and then do the bridge and pretend like you're going to hand me a treat?
Oh, yeah.
You can see what it looks like.
All right. So basically, when you're going to train with an animal, you'll use a target stick most of the time. This is called a lollipop target, but there's different types. So when you're going to do this, you're going to offer it to the animal. The animal's going to reach out, and I'm going to say, target. And I blow my whistle when she targets, and then I give you guys a reward. Whatever that favorite food item could possibly be, that's what you would do. So basically, like, my dogs love carrots. So every time you're trying to get a carrot out of the bag, because we also have a guinea pig at our house, they think, oh, carrot time, and they run over to the guinea pig cage and sit down because they know that you're going over there with the carrots, and they want that. So they're going to go over there and do every kind of trick they possibly think of to get one. And I know that you guys, your pets are probably the same way at home. Every time you try to get them to do one thing, they're just trying to get that treat. So basically when we're training, we'll use all of these things, but there's also we have relationship building when we're training. So when you initially start training, all it is really is getting close to that animal, learning how to work with them, and getting them to trust you. So that's all training starts with. And once you get that trust, it's a lot of work and persistence, and you can work towards your goals.
Awesome. We do have a couple of questions. Dominic would like to know how many animal patients you get a day up at the Animal Health Center.
Well, patients, it really depends. Most of the time we have 2 to 3 scheduled patients that are just coming up for rechecks or just basic exams. Most of the time they will go back to their enclosure after their exams, unless we're better equipped to house them, because sometimes they have to have a really clean housing when they have injuries to themselves. So it's actually better for them to be housed up here. We work really closely with their keepers down in the zoo. So when I get a patient that has to stay overnight, I talk to their keeper directly most of the time. So it's like talking to their mom and dad, basically. So I go down there and I'll ask them, what do you want me to feed them tonight for dinner? And they'll give me a list of food that they will eat, that they're supposed to eat, because, no one likes their vegetables, so they have to get them anyway. So I make sure that I have a well-balanced diet for them, but I also want to make sure that I know what their favorite foods are, so that if I have to medicate them, I don't have to physically grab them a lot of the times. I can just medicate the food that I know they're going to like. So like monkeys really like grapes a lot of the times and bananas. So if I have to medicate one of those guys, I'm actually going to slip it into their banana so they don't see it. And then I'm going to give that to them in hopes that it can be less dramatic and we all just have a good time eating bananas. When we get new patients in, we always will list their diets up on the boards. And every diet varies. So we're learning new diets probably at least once a week, where we'll have patients and this is the diet they're going to have. We're right next door to the nutrition center, which is a really big help. Those guys are awesome over there, and they help us provide a really balanced diet for our patients most of the time. So.
I see behind you, you actually have a really detailed checklist of all the things that you have to do to finish up a quarantine. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Sure. So when we finish our quarantine, and to ensure that we make sure that everybody's clean, we go and we will deep clean every building that we had a patient in. This also goes for hospitalized patients most of the time. We will actually deep clean the entire room. We will change the air filters out of the room. We will change the foot baths out of there. We actually keep a lot of records for our animals. So when we're doing our record keeping, we have ZIMS, which is our basically the program we use to keep all of the information on our animals. And we go into ZIMS, we enter that we have our patients, what we're doing with them, basically all the information so that if anybody needs to go back and look on how we treated any particular issue that arise, that we have that backup. Because it's really important, especially if it happens again with another individual, we can always go back and figure out what's the best action to take.
Cassandra would like to know if you have any animals scheduled to see today.
Actually, they're going down grounds to do some rechecks on some of our reptiles right now. I'm actually playing home base right now, so usually when we are during our usual day, the vet and will take one of the techs down, and they will do rounds, and they'll go look at patients that they've already looked at in detail up here, and basically do rechecks and make sure that their treatment is going as planned. So right now, Tara and Roxanne, our vet and vet tech, are down on grounds doing some reptile rechecks. Again, my name is Samantha Featherstone. I go by Sam. I'm the animal care specialist up at the hospital. We do a lot of things up here. I'm not only an animal keeper, I'm also the vet assistant. So when we do large procedures, I usually am either up here waiting for a call to see if they need anything extra that they might not have thought of packing, or I'm down on grounds actually helping them unload all of our equipment, set it up, so that when we actually do our procedures, that they're quick and easy. The quicker we can do our procedures, the better everything is. So we do a lot of setup and breakdown on enclosures. So we do a lot of house calls. And when we do those, it takes almost all of our team to bring our equipment back and forth, because we can do portable x-rays, we can do portable ultrasounds. So when we do like the large cats and elephants and stuff, they really can't fit up into our building. So we will actually go down on grounds and do x-rays in their holding area so that they're more comfortable and it's easier on everybody, basically. So
you have to collaborate with the animal care teams for training?
Yes, we do a lot of training here medically wise. So our big cats are blood draw trained so that we can get blood off them so that we don't have to do large procedures to check values in their blood to make sure they're healthy. So when they're voluntary trained, so they voluntarily come in and will offer their tail for blood draw, which is a really big help. We're also trying to train our bears right now for the same thing, fingers crossed. And we're actually one of the only zoos in the nation right now that is getting blood drawn off of the arm of one of our large cats who is missing her tail. But we also do medical training for applying of ointments and stuff like that. We get a lot of I know I get dry hands, so a lot of our big cats get dry paws. So they've trained them also to get up onto the gate so that they can put stuff on their paws. And it's an easier than having to try to apply it with them not cooperating.
Veronica would like to know if you have to do surgeries here or if we have to take animals to another facility.
It depends on the surgery. A lot of the surgeries happen here. We do bring specialists in if we're not quite there. I know that we do a lot of our own dental work here, and we do bring people in to do root canals and stuff like that. But we do a lot of our own surgeries here in our surgery suite at home.
Cassandra would like to know, because they can see your background, if that fridge is where the animal treats are kept.
Yes, that's where all of our food that needs to be refrigerated is kept. Our medicine's actually kept in there too. We don't have very many guests at our hospital right now, so we actually don't have very much food in there because we're trying to conserve. But yes, that's all of our animal snack. That is our animal snack fridge. I do not eat anything out of there.
Do you have to keep people food and animal food separate?
Yes. We have our human fridge in the office, and a lot of our fridges will say, do not store food for human consumption, because these are not for humans.
Do you ever have to stay here really late or spend the night up at the health center when you have patients here?
Sometimes. We've had, usually if that is the case, the patient really needs our care, and we're here for them. We can be here as late as they need us to be. But yeah, if our patients need us, we're here. So I've been here late. And it's worth it if they need us. So,
what's the biggest animal that you've ever participated on a surgery on? And do you do a variety of surgeries, not just dental?
Yes, they do a variety of surgeries. I think the biggest one I've been on so far was a wallaby, which was a tail surgery. We get a lot of naughty little animals here that bite each other's tails sometimes, and they have to be docked or surgically fixed so that it doesn't hurt them anymore. So we do a lot of tail surgeries too. We also do a lot of different eye things for birds. They tend to run into things and poke their eyes. So we do a lot of eye surgeries too.
Do you notice that lifespan of animals is a lot longer in zoos because of the care that they receive?
Oh, of course. I know that you guys have seen that our elephant Lucky just turned 60. Their average lifespan is actually about 45, so 60 is a great age to hit. We are so excited that Lucky has lived that long, and she is still a hoot. We also have a lot of we have a lot of geriatric animals that we take very good care of. And they are still, we do acupuncture for some of the really old ones, but they still love life as long as they're ready to go, so are we. So the geriatric ones, we love even more.
Awesome. So you have had a donation during your chat, so can you go ahead and tell our viewers what they can do to help support your staff and all of the animals here at the zoo?
So right now we're actually doing a drive-through zoo on the weekends. This first weekend is definitely, you guys have done great. We're already booked, but if you guys look on the later dates, we should have some more dates open up through the 17th. But we also, you can go to our Facebook page, You can go to our website, anywhere really, to find a donation link. Anything really helps. It helps us medicate, it helps us feed, it helps us be here. So any little bit helps. Thank you guys for joining me today. You have a good day, the rest of your day, and I hope to see you guys soon. Hopefully we'll be back open by the end of the month. Thank you guys for coming out. Hopefully you guys can watch the rest of our Facebook Live pages. They're also available on YouTube if you do not have Facebook. You guys have a good day. I'll see you guys later.